Hey everybody, and welcome to the Jed Said Therapy channel, where we make your life as easy as we can, using the fewest amount of words as possible. My name is Jed Thorpe, licensed therapist. I'm glad you're here, because today we're going to go over the 4 verbal ways to communicate. Okay, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Let's just get right into this. The first one we'll talk about is passive communication. Now, much like the name sounds, passive communicators don't do anything, really, when something crosses a boundary, when something happens. Did you hear that? So someone just slammed the door right outside my office as I'm doing this video. A passive communicator isn't going to do anything. They're going to think to themselves, oh, this is some crap, I can't believe this, but they're not going to confront the issue at all. They're passive. So ways to identify a passive communicator: listen for the sentences, hey, I just don't want to ruffle any feathers, or it's really not a big deal to me, those kind of non-confrontive sentences that are coming out of people's mouths. Let's swing to the other side of the spectrum of communication style and talk about aggressive communication. Aggressive communication, quite the opposite of passive. Well, if they hear somebody slamming the door while they're trying to make a video and it upsets them, right away, that person that slammed the door is gonna know about it. They're aggressive, which means they're abrupt, sometimes rude, real in your face, prickly. So identifying these people shouldn't be really difficult, because they're quite loud. They'll make themselves known. Now, statements, I guess you'll hear, or phrases, is pretty demanding phrases. Anything that has ultimatums attached to it or threatening sentences, you can be assured that you're in communications with an aggressive style communicator. All right, so there you have it. Number 1, passive. Number 2, aggressive. Let's talk about my favorite of all. He says sarcastically. That's actually a great example of passive aggressive. Passive aggressive, they're not overtly aggressive, but you can sure get the message that they aren't pleased with whatever the topic is or whatever the behavior is. So their thoughts are made known, basically. They'll use more subtle means of aggression. You can't really tell it right away. They'll use more covert operations. They might roll their eyes, they might make it so only certain people see them roll their eyes, or they might mumble something as they walk away. You've heard that. Oh, fine, I guess that's just the way it's going to be. Then blah, 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 and they'll mumble something, and you can't quite hear what they're saying, because they're not being confrontive. Really, they're not being aggressive about it. Passive aggressive. The sentences you'll hear from this type of communicator, it's fine by me. I just don't think that they're gonna like it. You know what I mean? I guess you could do it like that. I don't know. I guess if you really want to, you know what I mean? So there's gonna have a certain undertone of conflict that you just can't quite place your finger on. Also, other strategies, the passive aggressive communication style artists, some are quite masterful at this, they'll use gossip. You know what I mean? They'll talk behind the back. They'll sabotage whatever is propping up the behavior, or whatever they're being in conflict with on some level. They'll sabotage it. So, sneaky. Sorry, so we've gone over passive, we've gone over aggressive, in your face, prickly. We've gone over the passive aggressive, which is, I would say, the most dangerous, harmful way of all communication style. So, the best way, like I said, the first and number 1 top of healthy communication is called assertive communication. Now, assertive communication, they're not going to place themselves in any kind of victim stance when they're trying to address the door slammer. Rather, they're going to confront in not an intimidating way and try to connect with the person. In assertive communication, what's happening is they're trying to get to an outcome where everybody feels heard, everybody feels like they've gained something from the experience. And if you do this right, the door slammer in this instance is probably going to actually feel more connected to me after this assertive style of communication happens. Isn't that cool? And it would look something like I would go to the person slamming the doors all the time, and I'd say, hey, you know what? Hey, I just wanted to touch base with you. And I really appreciate, everything you're doing around here. I like having this workspace where we all have our different companies. And I want to keep it as well connected and amiable as I can. When you walk down the hallway and slam the doors really loud, it actually messes up some videos that I'm trying to do. Would you mind not doing that? I really, really would appreciate it. Something like that. That's the 4 ways to communicate. Isn't that cool? So remember, if you're going to be assertive, you're going to show a little belly, I would call it. Like you're a little vulnerable. You're not dominating at all. You're just letting them know how it's affecting you, and also letting them know that you're wanting to have a good connection relationship with them. And in a genuine way, when that comes out, people have a real hard time being anti this assertive style of communication. And if they are, well, then you just get to notch it up to some people are just going to be like that. So that's it. That's the Jed Said Therapy for the day. I hope you like it. If you do, push the subscribe button and follow. Do the whole sharing thing if you find this interesting. And like I said earlier, if you want to have a more detailed explanation with more examples and sentences and whatnot, go to the website, www.meaningtolive.com, and just check out the awareness blog right there. So, and that's it. I'm just could babble on forever. Not the best way to communicate, I imagine, but I really do appreciate you watching. I appreciate your time, and I hope you got something. Until next time, awareness up.